I'll tell you about my own work rule that I broke today. I always have this rule here that like we're not supposed to talk politics. And I walked right in, and Nate was there. And I know Nate kind of stands with me in this, but like Nate's standing with his work crew people, and I just walked in and I was like, I sit Langley today. And I knew that I was like, oh shit, I just fucking threw a grenade in there and now it's gonna pop. And so we had this like discussion for like 45 minutes, and I did my best to like verbally undress this guy who actually I like. He's a really nice fella, and he's like one of the few like super conservative people that I can actually have a dialogue with. And so we ended with a clink of the glass at the end of the night. But like, yeah, I violated my own rule, and but luckily I know him, so he'll keep coming back and spending money. But yeah, anyhow, so like when Pat was like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "I'm pissed. Like, I'm fucking pissed off, and like I don't have a lot to offer that's positive." But that's why Pat's gonna feed me props. He's writing them down as we speak. You're not fast enough.
What is your favorite kind of ice? Not
Well,
it's people I don't know.
Nose candy?
I like my drinks without ice mostly, but I do think that crushed ice is really cute, and on a summer day, it's very nice. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
not the up your nose ice though.
Nose candy? Wayne.
You're the president of Mars. What does it look like?
Sparsely populated, hopefully. I hope that you can grow weed there. That's going to be my first act as the president of Mars. Like we will have horticulture, and yeah, because if I'm going to be there, I'm going to have to be high.
Who do you wish your parents were and why? Just to keep this one going.
Well, I would wish my dad was exactly who he was, because he was the fucking shit, and like he was a good man. I actually told a story about my mom today. I used it in my example of talking about like prejudice and stuff. But when I was 7 years old, my mom inadvertently taught me who black people were, and like I didn't know. Like I was a child. I was 7 years old. We moved from New York out to what's now called Covington, South King County. It was like trees. It was like Whidbey Island before all the tourists showed up, probably, you know, and probably like the Whidbey Island you grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just trees. There wasn't much. You could go party in any woods, anywhere. But when we moved, it was like August, and there was a month before school started, and I just wanted to meet people and other kids. I was 7. I was starved for attention, and then school started, and I was super excited because I met this dude named Jake. And so 2nd grade, like this guy Jake, every boy in the class thought he was the coolest kid in the class. And not only that, like every girl liked him too. And if you remember when you were 7, like girls and boys really didn't really get along with each other. But like all the guys liked him, all the girls liked him, and he was like, "I'm gonna be your friend." And I was like fucking stoked, because like what a score. Like I got the coolest guy in the class and he's gonna be my friend. And so we make this, like we're like, dude, we gotta fucking hang out after school sometime. And I was like, I've got an Atari 2600.
Whoa.
Like, I know, and like even the young people here, like, we get that reference. And like, and yeah, I'm old, but like, I was stoked. Like, went home and I was like, Mom, I made a friend at school, and like, we want to get together and hang out. And you know, she's like, well, Wednesday or Thursday will work for him to come over after school. And I was like, cool. And so I go back to school, and then I meet Jake, and I'm like, so what'd your mom say? And he's, you know, and he was like, well, she said Thursday. And I was like, Thursday it is, all right. So then we go home, we tell our respected moms that this is going to happen on Thursday. And so school ends on a Thursday, and Jake and I walk the 2 blocks back to home where I lived, and we walk down the cul-de-sac and make it to the house, and I'm walking down the little walkway to the front door, and we can do some physical comedy here too. My mom's like, boom. She's like right there. She's guarding the fucking door. And I'm standing like right here with my buddy Jake. And I'm like, hey, and she's like, what are you doing? What's going on? And I'm like, I'm confused. I'm 7. I just came home from school. General program is, like back in the late 1970s. Milk and cookies, maybe a little Atari 2600. We're gonna fucking rock and roll, baby. Yeah, like this is what we do. We're kids. But I'm like, well, remember, it's my friend Jake's school. Come over today. And she's like, oh, I know. And I'm like, well, she's no, go play outside. And I'm like, I was hoping I wanted to show him the Atari. Like, I was a cool kid. I had a fucking Atari, bitches. Like, it's like one of the first ones. Like, that was probably what I got because we moved. And they were like, we gotta throw him a bone. And so she's like, no. And I'm like, milk and cookies? Like, come on. She's like, okay. She locks me out. She comes back out. She hands me a stack of cookies and literally, straight up, 2 fucking Dixie cups of milk. Like, not even the washable glassware. She gave me disposable cups. And I'm 7. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, okay, fine. So I look at my friend Jake and I'm like, I guess we're gonna go out and play in the woods. And there were ample woods to be played in. And so we did our thing, and then he goes home. And then I come back home, and I don't know what the hell's going on. So I asked my older sister, she's 4 years older than me. Her name's Kara, not to be confused with Kara, because that's a different Kara. Just so there's nothing weird going on. So I asked my older sister, Kara, I'm like, hey, like, I brought my friend home and Mom wouldn't let me inside. Takes her like 1.5 seconds. She said, what does your friend look like? I'm like, I'm 7. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what does he look like? He's like 7 years old, tall, and like he's like my height, and she's like, no, what does he look like? And I'm serious, 7 years old. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's like, his hair, what does his hair look like? And I was like, dark, and she's like, is it curly? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, how about his skin? Was he dark skinned? And I was like, I don't know what that means. And she's like, was he tanner than you? And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, he's fucking way tan. And she was like, that's a black kid. And she was like, and you're not allowed to bring them home to Mom. And I was like, what? Like, I had no idea. Like, I did not know until I was that old that there was the difference between white and black. Like, he was just a kid. He was literally the most popular kid in the class, and I was trying to hitch my wagon to his motherfucking star as the new kid in Washington, because I came from New York and had a fucked up accent. And so, yeah, she's like, yeah, no. She's like, my friend Wanda, like, I will never bring her home. She was like, I'm sorry I never told you this. Like, you can't bring a kid home that doesn't look like you. And I was like, dude, like, what the actual fuck is that all about? Because I was 7, I had no idea. And she was like, she's a racist. And I was like, what does that mean? Because I was 7 years old. I had no fucking clue. So fast forward, she dies, whatever. Like, I was in 9th grade. My sisters literally fucking hate her. Like, my sister, Kara, eventually had her own child, and then she told me, she was like when I had my first kid, I was like, hey sister, like I'm here asking you for advice again, like how do I do this? And she goes, well, she said, my parenting strategy looks like this. And she said, usually I know what to do in any given situation. And she said, and if I don't, I ask people who have been there before and then see what they have to say, and then I take their opinions and think about them. And she said, but failing that, maybe I run into something that like even my friends can't help me with. All I do is just ask myself, how would mom have handled it? And then she just did 180 the opposite way. And I was like, oh, okay, I know that drill. But like, yeah, that was it. So whatever, my mom died. So then fast forward again. My dad, who was like, he was born in 1928. He like lived through the Depression. He like lived to be 91. And that guy did not have a racist bone in his body. He actually ended up after my mom died, he got together with a woman who was Chinese. And so like I never thought of my dad as being a racist. My dad was like really progressive. My dad was very welcoming. Like he was the best parent for my sister who's lesbian. My mom disowned her, but my dad was like, hell no, like you're with us. And I walk into a Seahawks game with my dad one day because that was one of the things that we did. We went and watched the Seahawks lose all the time because it was back in the day, and they sucked. But we're walking through the sea in this river of people to get into the kingdom. Like there's like, I don't know, we're probably in like a group of like 1,500 people that are just all moving in mass to fill up a 50,000 seat stadium. And my dad's like, whoa, stop, like we're gonna go this way through the river of people. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. And I'm like, how the hell do you know who anyone is in this 1,500 people that's just moving in the sea? And he's like, no, my friend's the guy standing up on the windowsill up there. And I was like, that guy, what's he doing? And I was like, what's your black friend doing standing on a windowsill? And he said he's scalping tickets. And I was like, Dad, you're friends with a black ticket scalper? You're my guy. Like fuck yeah, like go introduce me to your friend. And he introduces me to his friend, and he's like, as we're walking up there, he's like, yeah, I play tennis with him like every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. You know, his name's Steve, he's a really nice guy, blah blah blah, whatever. I can't remember what his name was. But he introduces me, and the guy's like, holy shit, you're Ken, you're the guy that's a teacher, da 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 da. This guy knows all about my life. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking crazy. And so we move on, we're walking, and I put my arm around my dad, which, like, my dad wasn't very touching. And he was a very kind, loving man, but we didn't hug a lot. And so I put my arm around him and I said, Dad, I love you. And he's like, okay. He's like, what brings that on? And I was just like, you know, you're like in your 70s and you're super progressive. You're with a woman that's from China. You're friends with a black ticket scalper. I said, you've come a long way since mom. And holy fucking shit, that was the wrong thing to say. He throws my arm off of his shoulder. We're in a river of like 1,500 people. He stops. Like, we are now an island in this river, and the sea of people is now having to go around us. And he's face to face with me, and he's like, don't ever talk about your mom like that again. And I was like, okay. And then in my mind, I was like, she was a fucking racist ass bitch. Like, and yeah, but anyhow, I don't even know how I got there. But you were feeding me things, and then I got on something else. Yeah. How about something funnier? Give me a problem. If I'm the last one, but we can't end up talking about like how my mom was a racist. She's dead. She's gone. Fuck her.
That was the question. Who do you wish your parents were?
Oh, that's why. I wish my mom was someone else. The TLDR version. I wish my mom was someone else.
Michelle Pfeiffer?
No, too young. Don't just no.
Wait.
Helen Mirren. Yeah.
Ellen Mirren.
There you go.
She was classy. Still too young for my dad.
What is the most embarrassing reason you've left the party?
So I dated this girl once named Kelly. She had 2 dads, and which was unique because they lived in Cle Elum. Like, and if you've never been to Cle Elum, like that's a weird place to have 2 dads. But they somehow made it work. They were really popular, and it's because they threw the best parties. And so anyhow, I was at this other party that with some guy that she grew up with, and we're at some place out in the fucking hills in Cle Elum or whatever, and like I gotta drop a deuce. So I go into the bathroom and I see something I have never seen I've never seen in a residential bathroom. There are 2 toilets sitting next to each other. And I'm like, that's romantic. No, it's not. I did not think that. I just thought it was weird. But, so anyhow, I'm like, well, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And then, so I end up on this one, and I laid it out. I wrecked that toilet. I wrecked that motherfucker like you would not believe. And I'm like, cool. Like I feel a lot better now. I'm ready for a couple more drinks, and like the night's young. And so I clean up, and then like just nothing. And like, and I'm a guy, like I know how to do a little basic work. Like, I know what happens when the chain comes off. So I pulled the back out, and I realized this toilet was purely ornamental. There's no water. There's no water in the tank. Yet there was water in the bowl. I don't know why. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because, like, it's a pretty small house, like, there's odors and like, so I wash my hands in the bathroom, and then I decide I'm gonna wash my hands of the whole situation. And I walk out there and I lean into Kelly with 2 dads, and I just say, I don't feel good, we should go now. And she's like, okay. And so when we get in the car and go home, and I'm like, true confession. Like, what? And I was like, I feel okay. I actually feel much better now because I took a big shit. And I was like, but there were 2 toilets in the bathroom. And she said, you didn't sit on the wrong one, did you? And I just said, I want to keep driving.